Hello and welcome to this presentation of the Schoology interface for the Depict project. This is the walkthrough for the instructors or teachers. You will have received an email with a code which allows you to enroll into the course. Once you have used that code and you have registered into Schoology, then you will reach this page. This is the first page you see when you log into Schoology. Here on the left hand side you have a few tabs, and here on top you have the other tabs. In the first tab you're going to find, in this first part, items which belong to you as a student, because you as a teacher or a student may be allowed to participate in several courses. So when you first log in and you reach this page, this is kind of a dashboard for you where all the updates from all the courses are posted. Here you will see the calendar with events that have been set up. Here you'll find messages if someone has sent you a message. And in people, you will see the people that belong to the school directory. In this case, you find a few people here, like Domingo, for instance, or Pablo or Lola, who belong to the Observatorio Ocupacional, Abel, right? And subscriptions, here you get many different blog posts from different accounts in Schoology. Under subscriptions you see a line, and here we have a few options for the school actually. And here there are also a few options which actually belong to the main administration of the course, so we'll forget about it. Basically what you will be doing then is working in this recent activity, calendar, message, people and subscriptions. But what the important and the interesting thing is, when you go to the courses tab, and here you find the creativity, and this is the course. So basically you, as a teacher, will be able to add materials to the course. All right, how do you work with the Schoology? How do you create the lessons? The lessons are organized in folders. We suggest that we organize the lessons in folders. And from here you can add a folder, that is, create a folder, or you can add different things which we will look at them later on. Let's just look at one example already existing so you know the kind of things which you can create. Let's go inside lesson 1 basic level. And here you see different materials that have been posted to this lesson. So the folder is a container for everything going inside the lesson. First we see a theory. This is a PDF document that has been added. This is a task or assignment that has been added. You can find what it is by looking at its icon. This is another assignment. This is a test. This is another assignment. And this is a folder, because you can make folders inside folders to organize everything. If we go inside this folder, you will find some examples. Here you can see a Word document that has been added, and here you can see a block of text that has been added, which can be inserted like any HTML page. How do we add materials? Well, let's go let's go to the main root of a document and let's make a lesson, an example. First, let's create a folder and I'll name it lesson for example. I can type a description if I want, and I create the folder. Whenever you see an icon and a title that is a material, you see there is also a little tool here, and it lets you edit it. Availability, that is to set a publishing date for a folder or for any material, and move, copy, and save, and delete. The availability means that you have the option to say, okay, I want these materials to be published from this date to this date. For instance, you can say that lesson 1 is going to be taught or be available just for 1 week so that everyone goes through it and completes the lesson. This is something that has to be decided from the administration, how long are going the activities to be available, or if you want the students to follow a specific schedule. Okay, let's dive into our folder. The folder is empty, and now we can add materials. What can we add? As we said, assignment, test, file link, discussion, page or text block, media album, SCORM, and then possibilities for importing. All right. I like adding first a text block to explain what the lesson is. So I go to add page text block. We can type in a title and say, welcome to lesson 4. In this lesson, you will learn many interesting things. This is what you see is what you get. Interface, and you can use bold, underline, italics, subscript, superscript, or you can even change. These are many of the options which are available in Word. Okay, and now this is very important. If you say create, what you will create here is a link to a page. But you see, we don't actually see the text which we wanted to see here as an introduction to this lesson. This is because when we edit the text, let's edit the page, we have to click here on the display on new page, and then it becomes display inline within folder, and that is exactly what we want. When now we save the changes and we go back to our lesson 4, then you see the text now is inline within the folder, and then we can use this as a way to insert text inside the pages. Now I want to add maybe one link to some theory. I say add file or link. I say add file, and I can attach. Let's attach one PDF I may have here, like a small one, this one. And here you see a PDF has been posted. If I don't like it, I can also delete it. If instead of file I add a link, what I'm adding here then is a link to a URL. If we click here, it gets the title from the link automatically from the HTML, Universidad Miguel Hernández de Elche, and we add, then it becomes an available link, and it shows the way it appears in, could be Facebook, for instance. So we added a file or a link. We can add one assignment. What is an assignment? An assignment is any kind of exercise or task you want the student to complete. For instance, let's say we want them to write an essay, and we say, write an essay on creativity. Here we add the description. You must write an essay, 450 words. Here we can add a file or a link if we want to this specific assignment, as an example, for instance, or we could add a Word file here and say, okay, read this document and complete it, or whatever. We can add materials from the resource pool. The resource pool, which you can find here actually in the resources tab, it's a whole pool of resources, all kind of activities that the other colleagues at the institution may have left available for you. So it's a kind of repository with all kinds of materials which can be shared by different faculties or by different groups of teachers. And here we can add an audio or video recording as well. We can specify a due date, when we want this essay to be completed. Bear in mind it's using the US format, month, date, and year. You can specify a time, and in grading options, how many points you are going to give the student if the essay is correct. Of course, these kind of assignments need some input from the teacher. These are not assignments which can be automatically assessed, like it is done with the test, we will see later on. You can create categories here. You can say how you're going to rate it numeric way, 1 to 10, 1 to 5, or the American way, A, plus, minus. And here you can specify several options as well. Do you want this assignment to be only for one student or one group? Do you want it to be locked so that no one can touch it? Do you want to allow students to upload materials to the Dropbox folder of a course? Is it visible to students? You can hide it if you want, and you can prepare all the assignments beforehand and only make them visible when you want. You can have statistics of grades, and you can have comments enabled. Schoology is also kind of social platform, so all assignments, practically everything you see can be commented on, and all the participants, teachers or students, can go in and add comments, and you can decide if to allow them or not for this specific assignment. Then you create it, and then it will appear in our list. Here you see. We can also add a test or quiz. Again, we type a title, a due date. You can specify a time. Again, how many points it's going to be. All the same options we saw, and then create. When we create a test or quiz, These are the settings for the main container of a test, and inside this test now we are given the option to create the different kinds of questions we want. And we have all these options: true, false, multiple choice, ordering, short answer is a question, fill in the blank, or matching. You can also import them from previous question banks, or you can import previous tests. You can also add page breaks, and you can also add text. Let's add a bit of text and say, welcome to the test for lesson 4. Please write the correct answers. So we create a bit of text, and now let's add a question. Let's start with a true false. Here we type in the question. We can also record it if we want. This will be the text for true or false. We specify. You can also say okay, you can say yes or no. We can say that the correct answer is true. Require a correction if false. This is of course interesting for the multiple choice questions, but not for true false, because it's 50% chances. You can specify if this is a subjective question which needs to be evaluated before grading, and if it's a timed question, that means the student will have specific time, will have a timer, and the questions will close or will be submitted when the time reaches 0. And how many points are you going to give for the correct answer? Let's create the question. And it appears here. Let's add another question. Now a multiple choice question. Here we are presented with 4 different choices. You can add more if you want to. Again, where is the UMH located? And we can say Elche, Stanford, Alicante, let's say Madrid, for instance. And we, of course, check the correct answer. We can randomize the choices, that is, they will appear randomly, not in this order, so it helps. If this is for an exam, it's quite interesting that they are randomized. Otherwise, students can tell each other, well, it's 1, it's 2, it's 4, it's 3. We randomize the choices. Allow partial credit if multiple answers exist, because we can say that these 2 are correct. And again, if it's a timed question. And again, we're going to give 10 points. Good. An ordering question is a question where students are supposed to put the different sentences in the right order. A short answer is a question, is an open question where they just need to write either a short answer or an essay. This cannot be automatically graded. Fill in the blank, we all know what it is. They have to fill in the blanks, and matching means putting together pairs of items so they match each other. These are the kind of questions you can create in the quiz. If you want them to add them to the bank or add them to the resources, you can do it by clicking here. If you want to add them to the bank that is to the resources pool, you can always do it here. And if you want to reorder them, you can just click here and then change the order and then save the changes. So this is how you prepare quizzes. If you want to look at them and see how they look like, you can go to preview. And this is how it will look like. First, we have the text. And then we have the questions here. And we say, okay, it's Alicante. And we say no and submit. We are not allowed to submit because we are in preview mode. All right. But we can see how the text is set up and how the quiz flows. If we go to results for this specific test or quiz, we can see how many points they have, each of the students have scored in this text and how many attempts they have tried. And here in settings, this is the general settings for this whole quiz. Apart from the settings for each individual question, we can say, okay, this is going to be available now until a specific date, from one date to the other. For example, we can say that this is going to be available from today. This is the time of this, the date of this presentation, and it is going to be until tomorrow. There is no time limit. You can attempt it 3 times. We are not going to randomize the order of the questions. We can say 1 question per page or using page breaks. I like 1 question per page. Question review. When we say yes, then the students are allowed to review and change their answers before we submit the text. And resumable means that if for some reason they have stopped doing the quiz, they can continue from when they left it. Let's say yes. View submissions. Can they see the submissions? Well, we can say no, yes, or yes with the correct answers if we want them to check if they were correct. Here we save the changes and then we are set with this test or quiz. Perfect. Let's go back to our folder then. So far we have an introductory text, we have a link, we have an essay, that was an assignment, and we have a quiz. We can also add discussions if we want students to discuss about a specific task, which I don't know if this will actually be used in the Depict project. We can also add a media album. For this, you need to have already some photos uploaded to the resources folder. Or you can add a score, which are standard questions or quizzes, which you export from another SCORM-compatible platform, like Blackboard, for instance. So this is how you create the content as a teacher. Let's recap. You go inside the course, Creativity Introduction. You see how everything is arranged by folders. You can add folders here to add lessons, and inside every lesson you have the option to create even more folders if you want to create specific arrangements inside your lesson as well, and you can add all these materials. This is basically what you will be doing as an instructor. And then by clicking here, you go to the home page again. Here you see a list of courses. In this case, is the Creativity Introduction. Groups, here we are thinking of creating 1 group for each participant institution or a country. So all Norwegian students are in a Norwegian group, and all the UK students are in a UK group, but this will be decided later on. And here in resources personal, you find the whole repository of activities, exercises, etc., which we discussed before. In the personal folder, we have the different resources we can add. In the public ones, you see activities which other teachers all over the world have created and posted as public for anyone to use. And here there would be the resources, public resources, the group resources, I mean, for specific groups which are not created yet. And if you see any activity in these icons here, it means that you have received a new message, that you have received a new request for a student or participant who wants to join the course and needs permission to join the course. And here you will see notifications. And here you see all the latest activity that has been happening to your folder. Many of the Schoology options are options meant for large institutions with many different courses. That's why I'm not going through all the different possibilities that the system has, because actually we are only going to use it for these creativity assignments or other you want to use as well. If you want to add a course, it's very easy. You need to create a course here. You type the course name, course code, section code. Of course, I think the name is the only compulsory one. These are just codes for your internal information, subject area, grade level, and grading periods. Grading periods because the institution may have different grading periods, and these courses can appear whenever they belong to a period, and we can add periods here, but this must be decided from an administration point of view. And then you would click on create, you have another course here, and then you'll have the option again just to go like here to start adding materials, which means adding folders. And that's basically this walkthrough for the teachers part in this Schoology Depict project. If you want to have a look at how it does look like for students who have enrolled, look at the other presentation, that is the walkthrough for students. Thanks for watching, and bye-bye.